It seems that no sport is more dictated by a referee than basketball. Whistles can swing games, series, and ultimately championships. What is unfortunate is that the NBA refs get it wrong a lot. In this video, I will be giving you my list of the top 10 worst calls in NBA history. Hello there and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, it is highly appreciated. Before you get further into this, be sure to subscribe with those bell notifications on if you're new so you do not miss a single upload. There is always quality NBA content uploaded to this channel, I assure you. Without further ado, let's get right into this. For the number 10 spot, we have the Charles Smith game. In the waning moments of Game 5 of the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals, Charles Smith was blocked 4 times on potential game-winning layups. The controversy here is that many people believe Smith was fouled on at least 1 and as many as 3 times in that sequence. There appears to be contact, particularly on the 4th attempt. The 93 Knicks were the best team of this era. They won the first 2 games of the series at home, and if Smith was had gone to the foul line here and made both free throws, they would probably have won Game 5. For number 9, we have Jordan's last shot. It was a fitting way for Michael Jordan to end his career. Not only did he make his final shot to win his 6th and final NBA title, but he did it over a man whose last name was Russell, symbolically passing the torch of the greatest player ever from Bill Russell to Jordan. What is lost here is that Michael Jordan blatantly pushed off Brian Russell. Had an offensive foul been called, the Bulls would have lost Game 6, 86-85, and have been forced to play Game 7 in Utah. Considering how much was on the line in terms of his legacy, I'm guessing that Michael Jordan would have led the Bulls to a win. But that amazing final moment to end Jordan's career was not real. It was allowed by the referees. I'm willing to look at this as just a bad call. Jordan was wide open because of an illegal move. As much as I love Michael Jordan, this has to be remembered. At number 8, we have the 4-point play. A foul was called and Larry Johnson got to shoot a free throw in addition to the 3-pointer he had just made. That free throw turned a tie into a 1-point Knicks lead and victory. The Knicks would go on to win the series and make the NBA Finals. Personally, I think it looked like a panic whistle. In other words, the delay signifies that the referee panicked and gave a call to the Knicks that he shouldn't have for reasons we can't be quite sure of. How often do we see calls made that last longer after the initial contact? But still, this call only came in Game 3. Indiana was the better team. The Knicks were the number 8 seed, by the way, and they shouldn't have let one bad call ruin the series for them, but they folded, winning only one more game in the series. At number 7, we have the Celtics over Lakers. In Game 2 of the 2008 NBA Finals, the Lakers shot 10 free throws. The Celtics shot 38. Think about that for a minute. The Celtics had 28 more opportunities to score free points. A bench player named Leon Powe shot more free throws, which was 13, than the entire Lakers team. The biggest star in the series, Kobe Bryant, shot 7. LA's all-star big man Paul Gasol only shot 1. A few bad calls are excusable. Referees are only human. When one team shoots 28 more free throws than the other, you have to look into it. I don't think there was any foul play here. If anything, it would have been in the league's best interest for the Lakers to win and even the series. I think the referees just did a downright terrible job. At number 6, we have the Lakers over Celtics. I said there was no foul play involved in 2008, but in 2010, now we're talking. Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals is the first example on this list of referees bailing out a star player. It happens fairly often, but in Game 7 of the Finals, well, I'll let the numbers do the talking. Kobe Bryant was shooting terribly in Game 7. He ended up shooting 6 of 24 from the field, but I don't believe at one point he was something like 2 of 17. Ask any scorer, they'll tell you that when your shot isn't falling, you try to get to the line. And that's what happened in Game 7. Kobe Bryant started barreling to the basket in hopes of calls. And the calls came. He went to the free throw line 15 times. As a team, the Celtics did 17 times. The Lakers ended up winning in the final moments. Kobe was given Finals MVP. Side note, he absolutely stole that trophy from Paul Gasol, and people seem to forget what really happened. If Ron Artest's three-pointer breaks in the final minutes, the Celtics may have won the game, and the media would have never stopped talking about how Kobe can't beat the Celtics. At number 5, we have the Phantom Foul. The Pistons led the Lakers by 1 point in the final moments of Game 6 of the 1988 Finals. They fed the ball to Kareem, he posted up Bill Laimbeer and went up for a skyhook. He missed, game over, Pistons win. The Pistons are the NBA champions. This is what should have happened. What actually happened was the abomination of a foul call. Kareem made 2 free throws, the Lakers win the game, and Game 7 and are the 88 champs. Only they really aren't. If the refs would have gotten a single call right, the Pistons would have won the series. I would love that someone would point out where the foul is. The whole purpose of the skyhook was that nobody could block it. If nobody could get high enough to block it, how could Bill Laimbeer have gotten high enough to foul Kareem? He didn't, because like everyone else, he didn't have the reach. This is probably the only call in NBA history to definitely swing a title, which is why it's so high on this list. At number 4, we have the comeback. People remember Game 7 of the 2000 Western Conference Finals for the incredible comeback by the Lakers, culminating the most famous alley-oop in NBA history. What people don't remember are the bad calls that led to it. The Lakers had a 37-16 free throw advantage in that game. 2 of the Portland's biggest stars, Scottie Pippen and Arvydas Sabonis, fouled out. Neither were as high profile as franchise player Rasheed Wallace, but you could argue that they were more important to this particular game. Why? Because they were assigned to cover Kobe and Shaq. The free throw advantage is one thing. Obviously, when one team is shooting 21 more free throws than the other, it doesn't look very good. But when 12 of those fouls come at the expense of the guys responsible for holding down the opponent's 2 biggest stars, it looks like they really are starting to become suspicious. If you're wondering, Pippen averaged less than 3 fouls per game over his career. With Sabonis out of the game, the Blazers had to defend Shaq. At his absolute apex was 6'8" Brian Grant, and people wonder how the Blazers blew that game. I'm not going to cry wolf on this game though. As bad as the refs were, the Blazers blew it. If you can't hold a 15-point lead in the 4th quarter of Game 7, you don't deserve to win the title. Still, a convincing case could be made for the other side here. At number 3, we have the Flop Fest of 2012. My reaction to Game 1 of the 2012 Knicks vs. Heat first round series was brash and premature. I called it the worst officiated game in NBA history. And as it turns out though, I wasn't too far off. The Heat had a 28-5 free throw advantage in the first half. Think about that for a second, guys. The Knicks shot the same number of free throws as times they were called for charging. In other words, they went to the line about as often as LeBron James flopped. Let's talk about LeBron for a minute. His flopping was so blatantly obvious that multiple NBA players actually tweeted about it. I really want to throw the refs under the bus here because they did a terrible job, but something had to initiate it. LeBron has to shoulder just as much of the blame as his ridiculous acting caused us in the first place. For number 2, we have the Game 6 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals. The 2002 Lakers, as well as the team from my Nets slide, are one of the 2 teams whose championships I adamantly refuse to validate. The Sacramento Kings win the 2002 NBA championship, period. The Kings were flat out better, they were hungrier, they were deeper. Chris Webber was playing just as well as Shaq. This was where the Laker dynasty should have organically ended. Remember, if not for a miracle 3-pointer by Robert Horry and the travesty known as Game 6, the Kings would have won this series 5-1. I know that's impossible, but hang with me here. If you search NBA Rigged on YouTube, the first 3 videos are about this game. The video shows every bad call of that game. It's 8 minutes long, by the way. I highly encourage watching it if you're a fan of terrible calls. My personal favorite, fast forward to around the 5:30 mark. Kobe Bryant basically punched Mike Bibick in the face without a call. Convicted felon and former referee Tim Dunaway has come out and claimed that the game was rigged multiple times. And finally, for the number 1 spot, we have games 3 to 6 of the 2006 NBA Finals. Honestly, this series still sickens me. The NBA needed a star, so they created one. Never in the history, not only of basketball, but sports as a whole, have referees so blatantly and continuously attempted to hand a championship to a player and the team. Let's look at the raw numbers. Dwayne Wade shot 97 free throws in 6 games, good for a record in any 6-game NBA series, only 2 off the record for a 7-game series. In Game 5, he shot 25 free throws, the same amount as the entire Dallas team. If you don't think these free throws are important, remember that games 3, 5, and 6 were all determined by 3 points or less. For some reason, numbers like that don't convince people. Excuses can be made for bad calls on single plays. Even what happened between the Lakers and Kings can be excused slightly by saying that it's only 1 game. The Kings had another chance to win the series. But what happened during those 4 nights in 2006 left a mark on the NBA's historical resume so big that it can never be erased. Miami, although technically not a bigger market, is more nationally relevant city than Dallas. They had the 2 biggest stars of the series, one that was there for the last rodeo, the other ready to build a legacy at his first. And there you have it, guys. That is my list of the top 10 worst calls in NBA history. If you like this video, be sure to smash that like button. It really helps out a lot, probably more than you can imagine. Be sure to share and subscribe to this channel with notifications if you are new here. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you in the next one.